Okay. Hi, everyone. Can I have your attention, please? We're going to get started. First, I'm going to take a picture of all of you lovely, beautiful people, but I'm going to do it from upstairs. So we'll get a nice view of everyone here. So we can even get the camera guys. All right, everyone, just smile. Say Keystone Merge. All right, you rock. Thank you. Okay, thank you all for being here this evening. And I'm going to read my notes. So who has ever been to a Keystone Merge event before? Yay. Okay, who hasn't been? Just show us. Yay. Awesome. Welcome to the newbies. Appreciate you coming out and enjoying the evening with us. Keystone Merge, it's a regional gathering of thinkers and doers. And it happens on the first Thursday of the month in York, Harrisburg, and Lancaster. So in York, it happens at the Grotto. Chelsea's here, and Helen from the Grotto. And then we have Pursuit in York, or in Harrisburg, and Adam's over there. And they're celebrating their 10-year anniversary. Woo! It's so awesome to see co-working thriving in the region. And so all of us are just doing some really good work. And so I appreciate the partnerships between the different co-working spaces. It means a lot. We've been doing this a long time. Candy Factory's been around since 2010. We started building community 3 years before that. So we've been doing this a while, and I love everything about it. I enjoy coming to work every single day. I get to work with awesome people like Francis over here. The best front desk person you could ever have. So she was your greeter this evening, so thank you for giving her some love. I appreciate that. A big thank you to our community partners who support this event, help make it happen. So thank you to all of you fine people. The funding for this program comes from the work of the Next Gen Partnership Innovation Committee. So check them out online. They're a group of volunteers developing the entrepreneurial ecosystem throughout the region, doing some really interesting work, mapping the region and what resources are available for entrepreneurs. So if you haven't started following Keystone Merge and their partners, you really should, because just doing some really good work that's going to be coming out. I don't know, Chelsea, when's the mapping project supposed to be done? May 5th. Whew, it's good. No one has been willing to tackle mapping our system regionally. It's been talked about for years, but no one had the balls to do it. So appreciate you guys doing it. This is being streamed. Sorry about that. Okay. Welcome to the Candy Factory. We're pretty casual here, as you can tell. Okay, so food. Our food tonight is from Rosa Rosa. They're a local Italian restaurant. They're awesome. They're great to work with. And so help yourself to, please, there's tons of food. Whatever you don't eat will be eaten tomorrow by our members. So, it won't go to waste. But, please help yourselves. And then also the wine we have tonight was sponsored by Vine Bar, which is Italian wines. They're fabulous. They're our member. They're really great. And then the beer you're drinking tonight is Lancaster Brewing Company, so a local brewer. This is their Hop Hog IPA, so a very drinkable beer. So if you like beer, check it out. So we're going to be hearing from 2 entrepreneurs this evening who'll be presenting for 10 minutes each. And then they'll have 10 minutes to discuss and offer help, or we'll have 10 minutes to talk to them and offer help for any challenges that they're having with their businesses that they've identified. So again, thank you to all of you fine people for coming out this evening. And our first presenter is going to be Mary Richardson of Bindr. So Mary, you want to come on up? Does this clamp at all to open, or just push it in?
Either way, you can clamp it or...
Mary, do you want it in there, or do you want to hold it?
You want to walk or you want to stand with it?
Okay, let me get you guys this. Okay, I'm super excited to hear about this business, so let's give it up for Mary again. Okay, is it working? Input. Yeah, actually input. Yeah,
Even if it's not, it's fine. Hi, everyone. I'm Mary, and this is Brandon. We are the Bindr team. So,
make sure you're
Bindr is a bisexual dating application. It's
Yeah, hold on. We're trying to just get the.
Get the text that I talked about a while ago.
Hold on one sec. We did test this beforehand.
Yes, we
just
did.
So
I
you
swear.
know.
Let's try this again. Is it plugged in on the other side?
It took a second last time, but not this time.
It is plugged in. It's an important number.
Oh,
Oh, here we go. Yeah,
I
got it.
think we got it.
Yay.
Yeah, there we go.
Nice.
Okay, I'm Mary Richardson. I'm the CEO of Bindr. This is my partner and co-founder, Brandon. He's the CTO. And we are an all-inclusive dating application geared towards bisexual and bi-curious individuals looking to make meaningful connections. The first time that I tried to talk about my sexuality, I was actually a very young girl trying to get comfort and confirmation from my aunt, who told me that bisexuality is not real. It's a phase you're going through. When you're older, you're going to pick a side. It's most likely going to be men because that's what's expected from you. And that's that. So like that kind of really stuck with me well into adulthood. I didn't know how to feel about it. And as we got older, we saw that this is really a problem that a lot of people are facing, is that they're getting discrimination from both sides of the spectrum, from straight folks, from gay folks, saying you're not really part of the community if you like both sides, or, you know, it's not super accepted still in today's world to be bisexual. It's largely ignored. So that's where our problem comes in. Our solution is creating a safe, mainstream application for people to be able to meet and connect. So bisexual individuals make up over half of the LGBTQ community. It's about 13 million people open in the United States. That doesn't include anybody who's curious or like just interested in being here and like exploring it. So that's where we come in. We developed it for the first bisexual mainstream audience, and by that I mean without like paywalls. You can use everything. All basic features are free. So we are similar to Tinder. It's like a freemium subscription where you can pay for advanced features, but all of our basic features are free. We're really big on like safety, inclusivity, and really like making it feel like a good, welcoming, non-discriminatory community. So here we talk about our app and really shows how we used it. We've released a few different updates and remodels since originally launching in August of 2022. So since then, we're getting lots of new users, about 2,000 to 2,500 a month. This is all without ad spend. We've just done like SEO, generic, organic growth, and right now we're at about 11,500 users. Is that about right? Yeah. And that is just continuously growing, and it's awesome the support we're getting. Do you want to talk about the app a little bit? Or are you good?
I'm good.
Okay.
Go ahead.
So here we talk about our competitive advantage and why we think that we're the best option, and a lot of people, I think, are agreeing with us as our numbers show. Bindr is inclusive, which a lot of other dating applications like Tinder, and this is backed from our research of talking to a lot of people. You go on Tinder with both options selected, they're going to show you more heterosexual options. So if you're a woman, they're going to show you more men than women significantly. And after talking with a lot of people, we found the same thing as with men. They show them lots of women and a few guys. So you have to really set your preferences to only the same sex if you want to see any of them. And then a lot of times you get banned for it. And I found that it's very common. It happened to me 3 times. And that's what really pushed me, us to make it, is that I kept getting banned from Tinder. I was getting, frankly, pissed off about it and not, like, I just wasn't happy about it. And so we said, you know what, like, let's just do it. We're passionate about it. We think that it's really needed, and we did it. So ours is free. Other ones, like BuyCupid, are not free. They're usually like a pretty high paywall, like $30 a month to even message people. So what I tell everybody is that, yes, it's for bisexuals, but as long as you're not discriminatory against our community, we want you here. If you want to come just find men, if you want to come just find women, as long as you're not going to be a hateful, like, bad person to our community, you're fine. You can be bisexual men, women, couples are highly encouraged, and lots of people are on there looking for maybe their third or other things. And just anybody who's open and happy with the community is welcome with us. So here's our traction. Like I said, summer 2022, we launched the app. First, it was only to iOS. Now we have iOS and Android. Within a few months, we got 5,000 users. We were like blown away. We did not expect it. Early 2023, so what, that was January we hit that? Yep, early January we hit 10,000 users. We're hoping by the end of summer, 20,000, and that's our conservative goal. We're really hoping for over 30. And with that, we're hoping to get more revenue. So right now, every new person that signs up, it's about 5% of new users signing up. So that's not 5% of our 11,000, but since we launched the premium subscriptions, about 5% of people have been paying for a subscription. So it's awesome. We're so happy and excited about this, and like taking all the feedback and getting new features put out. Since we've done this, this has been since March that we've raised some funding. All of this has been equity free. So I got first place for a pitch competition through Penn State, and that was a $15,000 equity free reward. I'm doing Summer Founders, which is another $15,000 guaranteed equity free. That's a 13-week accelerator program I'm super excited about. Penn State's been awesome, and the connections there are just like really big and huge and very like accepting and inclusive for us. Right now, we also have 2 more that we're going to do in April. The McNeese Accelerator Program, we have the opportunity to possibly win up to $5,000 if we get that. And I'm doing another Shark Tank event in April that could be $2,500. So it's really cool that we've been using all of this like equity-free funds and how we've been able to grow this without marketing once we get that money. Here's our team. Me, the CEO. I have Brandon. He's the CTO. He has really done all of the development by himself up to right now. We have Jose, who just joined the team, and he's starting to work on features and working under Brandon. And Emily has been marketing social media and outreach of really just like going and talking to people, like putting her out there and getting feedback. Like a lot of our customer discovery has come from Emily just being like an open and awesome person to go talk to people and getting all those opinions. So here's our contact. From the website, you can get to both apps, or if you just search bisexual dating on both app stores, you should be able to find it pretty quickly. So we're really happy about that as well. So that's us. That's Bindr. We're so happy to be here and to be providing this service. Another thing I forgot to mention is one of our main goals that we're putting, one of the new updates, we're actually going to put a resource tab directly in the app, which is going to provide resources for LGBTQ individuals, connect them with different counseling, maybe connection to like the Trevor Project, and providing our own. I'm actually developing a resource right now to help people with different, like if your religion conflicts with your sexual orientation identity. So that's one thing we're trying to work on, and we're just really happy to be here.
I can ask the question. If you
Yeah.
want. So one of the reasons why we're here tonight is just not to show the product. We've had some pretty awesome growth, and with a lot of help from people in this room and this community. But we're also looking for some feedback, and that's why Keystone Merge seemed so great to us. I think one of the big questions that we're running into is we've had some influential people reach out that have done dating applications, and with the funding that we've gotten, which is like just starting to clear into the accounts, we haven't paid for any marketing so far. And that's been awesome, and a lot of people are telling us to run with it. So we wanted to get feedback from other people that maybe have gone through a similar journey on if we should use the funding for other resources like improving the app, or if we should stick with our marketing strategies that we're doing now, or double down and get ad spend. Now, we do know our conversion rate. We spent like $100. We do know that 25 cents on the dollar will get us a new user. So with the money that we've just raised, we can get roughly 100,000 users if we do it correctly. So just wanted to kind of jump the questions in from there.
How's this? How's projecting? Great. Thank you guys so much for presenting. I really appreciate it. 22-year-old me would have really appreciated hearing someone speak about their identity so confidently. So 36-year-old me says thank you. My two quick questions. One is just for the more generally, is the name protected? Are you trademarked yet? Because your name is dangerously close to Grindr. I can't believe they haven't tried to be annoying to you yet.
So we are in the process of doing trademark. We're with a lawyer right now, and they don't think that we're going to have any issues. We haven't got any direct notifications or we've gotten some talks about Grindr and getting us in contact with them, but I don't think that there's anything too bad with it. Like they said, since we're we're in the dating market, but since we're different markets, they think that it's going to be okay. So cool. It's like Tinder, Grindr, Bindr is we're trying to play on it, but the lawyers seem to think it's okay.
Okay. It's so clever. I would hate for you to have to change course. The other question is more of a suggestion related to why you're here. If I were you guys and I had the budget, I would plaster every Pride Fest up and down the East Coast this summer. Just booth fees alone would probably be a 10x return on spend.
Yeah.
So for what that's worth.
Yep. Thank you.
Hi, Daisha Cooper. My thought is that specifically to your question about marketing, would be diversify your marketing and the way you're where you're spending your money. So don't put everything into one bucket. Use influencers like Adam, right? Yeah, said. Is that your name? Yeah. Said, doing shows, but also spending money for paid ads can be part of a holistic marketing plan. You don't have to feel like you have to go one spot. Just use one one avenue or one stream of marketing. So I think if you're getting 25% of your budget to get leads is really good if you're getting a conversion there.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Typically, we'd say up to 30%.
Okay.
Yeah.
We're looking at a few different avenues, so just to kind of clarify to that, we're looking at Pride Fest is something we're looking into. Influencers are another avenue we've been looking into. We've been considering hiring a publicist. We do have some press releases and about Mary's journey, being banned from different dating applications and trying to put marketing dollars into that, as well as your basic advertising on both the Google Play Store and the Apple iOS Store for terms that we might not be ranking so high for.
I know you guys mentioned the idea of doing influencers, and to me, when I think influencer, I think of people with huge followings and stuff like that. But as you guys mentioned, and also being a friend of Emily, a lot of it comes from just everyday people talking about it, promoting it to their friends. Maybe consider something more down the ambassador level, where maybe even people with lower level followings or whatever can continue to use your app and promote it to their communities. And even have them on events like Pride Fest where you can't make it. Maybe one of them can show up and represent your brand as well. Just some ideas.
Yep. Yeah, thank you. And we definitely do need to get more of those people. Emily's been a great resource. I know that you're familiar with her as well.
We're definitely looking for more team members to help with that.
Yeah. Yeah. So if anyone wants to be a brand ambassador, this is a great opportunity to say, we are looking.
Yeah.
So.
There's a saying that first-time founders worry about product and second-time founders worry about distribution. So I think investing in marketing is going to be really smart. Out of all your users, do you know how many are recurring on a month-to-month basis?
Yes, we do. So in terms of the reoccurring users, so that 5% that we get, about half of that 5% is reoccurring right now.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
And do you know the geographic locations of where your user bases are?
Yeah, so we've had really interesting results that we didn't expect. So a lot of down south, a lot of South Carolina, North Carolina, places that you might not necessarily would think would be target spots. Now, of course, you have the users in New York, you have users in San Francisco, Denver, Colorado, where the market is very open about their sexuality and before this, but we found that more of the, I guess you would say, closeted markets, we've actually found more users on those areas. At least I would say the majority of like the entire user base is actually more in the rural areas rather than the big cities.
Of people, like where people don't really have like gay bars to go to or more accepting communities to talk to, I think they're using our app as an outlet of somewhere to go talk to people that aren't going to judge them and express themselves. So that's really, we weren't really expecting it, but it's so awesome and comforting because that's one of the things we really wanted to do is give people this safe place to go.
Yeah, I like the idea of a decentralized community, but as you think through dating apps, I think there's a lot of power to proximity. Like dating in North Dakota on an app like Tinder is going to be drastically different than New York City. So as you think through your CAC, if you're able to do that at 25 cents on the dollar, I think that's really smart if you're able to do it in population dense areas.
Yeah, and I think where the diversification, as somebody else mentioned, is like if we diversify the funds, then we can still target those big markets while also still targeting maybe the larger geographical areas as well that are a little more underserved for this kind of thing.
I just wanted to add, we just heard a point about recurring revenue, and I was wondering if you have a customer success strategy, which is, it's kind of a, for those that aren't familiar, it's kind of a, it sounds like kind of a funky or silly term, but it's all about recurring revenue, and the cost to retain a customer is so much less than that to get a new one. And so I was wondering if you have like a customer success strategy. But I've worked in customer success for subscription software and stuff like that. I'd be happy to chat with you guys if you're curious about that. So that was just one. And then you talked about Penn State. I'm also a Penn State grad. I know that Penn State has several organizations for college students that are part of this community, that are part of the LGBTQIA+ community. And one of the things from my own experience as a university student, I was always in clubs that needed money so badly that we would take any kind of sponsorship we could get, but especially any type of organization or company that was aligned with our values was really valuable to us. And so as college students graduate, they move all over the country. And so if you're not already doing that, I just wanted to bring that up, especially with a rural school like Penn State. And if you're trying to reach those rural areas, that could be a way to get out there.
Yeah, thank you so much. We'd definitely be interested in talking to you. And so we've been thinking about talking to like the Rainbow Paws, like the LGBTQ+ clubs, but we haven't really thought about going into maybe more diverse clubs. So that's really helpful. Thank you.
Hi, so I was just going to ask, when you were talking about selling well into closeted communities, are you having a harder time there converting people into paying? Because I would suspect that those people might be more afraid of having Bindr show up on their credit card bill. Like, do you bill within a generic looking name, or does it end up coming billed from Google, or like, have you done anything with that?
Yeah, so you nailed it right there. It's actually built through Google and Apple. We're going to add the ability to pay for a subscription because we can do it a little cheaper if they sign up through the web platform that we have as well, because it avoids some of the really high fees that Apple and Google charge with. It's like right around 30%. But with those subscriptions, and then like in terms of like targeting the market, I don't want to say like, hey, we have the like the revenue lockdown in terms of like, hey, how do we keep these users subscribing? Because we've only had revenue coming in from these users for 2 months. So there's just a limited amount of data that we can go off of. We started with like focusing on the product, which we couldn't charge users for a system that didn't have users. And then we focused on building that first. And then after having that, then so we started saying, hey, this feature could be useful. You could come up like in better results. And we get feature requests, and we have lots of support requests in terms of what people would like to see. And that's what we've been focusing on now, just keeping the paying users that want to keep paying. We were actually pretty surprised at how high so far we've been able to keep subscribers to keep subscribing for a couple months now.
I think it's very great. I think it's great that you did this, and you talk about the diversity of locations. When you talk about diversity, what about people of not white or not from this, originally from this country, different cultures? How do you find the diversity among your members?
So that's actually a great question. We've been seeing an increase of users from the Philippines, Nigeria. We're in the top 100 apps for social networking. So we've obviously put in protections to ensure that we can do that. But since it is a geo-based location app, and since it's such a kind of like niche market, that we haven't seen too many issues even with the distance, like for users being far away. Now, of course, you can sort based off of distance. Like you don't have to see people from Nigeria if you don't want to. But I mean, of course, you can. And
here in the United States, we have quite a diversity. I'm just wondering, do you do any marketing to the diverse population?
We haven't marketed to them at all. They found our app, and they're just interested in it because it exists. And then we've noticed, we've noticed that in more, like what to Mary's point she was saying earlier, we've noticed in markets that are more religion-based, like where they have like laws where you could like be executed for this kind of thing, we're actually seeing more users in those markets.
That's great. That's great that the diversity is there in so many ways.
And the only reason we haven't marketed to like specific is just because we haven't marketed to anybody yet. Yeah. Like we haven't paid anything in marketing. But thank you so much. We'll take it all into consideration.
How about like safety measures as far as like catfishing and those types of things? Do you have verification built into your platform or anything like that for user confidence?
So we have a couple verification methods. I mean, one of the benefits of being on the App Store is that that automatically verifies age through Apple and Google. Now we have verifications on top of that with the platform, and then like right now, like I'm going to be honest, like we're still early on, so we're working like getting in like third-party APIs to verify IDs and do things like that as well. Now that's where like the next step comes into, like beyond verifying beyond like a phone number and email is like verifying that this person is exactly who they say they are, because like some people do like to remain a little anonymous just because of the nature of the platform. We want to keep that to a reasonable amount, but also verifying that they are who they say they are for safety reasons, of course.
So I had three things I wanted to mention. One of the things was, is there a community built into your site, or is it more of just, you find that person and that's the end of it, or is there like a community where there's like forums or boards or people being able to chat in like a group format, or maybe a Discord server where people can kind of be connected in a discussion sort of format kind of thing? Was one thing I was thinking about. The second thing was, incentivize. Have you incentivized your existing members? Because most of the time when people are in the community, they talk to other people, and maybe setting up some kind of incentive where you bring in 5 people, you get a month for free, or something of that nature. Also, this is something I probably suggest to every person that comes to Keystone Merge, is utilizing Kickstarter or Indiegogo to kind of get the word out there and build a campaign and give people like a lifetime account or a free 1-year account access or something like that. And also, does your app only do monthly and draw monthly, or could you pay for it for a year at a time, or buy a 5-year plan, or do something like that where you get more funds up front for a longer commitment from the user? Those were kind of the things I was thinking of. So.
Yeah, so I'm going to be completely honest. It's been a very iterative process.
Right.
But what I mean by that is I don't mean like a non-answer. So like in terms of like the community aspect, like we have a Facebook group. We're starting to like be more active on social media to do that. We don't have a community function built into the platform because there's the tug of war of like, if we have a community platform and people are messaging and talking to each other without matching, then that's taking away from the freemium model for the paid users. So there's coming up with the right solution for that is what we're deciding on now. And then like in terms of like kind of like building this out, like we're still deciding like what features make the most sense. Because like when we launched this in August, I mean the app, like I built it in a week. It was a really quick process, and then I started to get like a couple hundred users, and we're like, okay, we might be onto something. So we started doing iteration, and then we started getting more and more users, and like that's been our entire process. So like finding the new markets, finding the new ways. Because if we go in and do let's say a yearly subscription, as you were saying right now, it is monthly right now. We don't know how that would affect our current conversion rate. So it really, like, in a lot of ways, adding in more features seems great, but if we do it too quickly, then we are not getting the metrics from the features we already have.
Gotcha. Yep, that makes sense. And the last thing I was going to say is, have you tried marketing on Reddit? You know, Reddit is a little bit more offbeat from your Google / Hulu and those kind of places, and many times you could choose some of the boards for your ads to be shown on, which you can find ones that are community-based that would, you know, land and drive home conversion a little bit better for you, just because you're catering to the boards that would have your people, you know, essentially in front and center, so to say.
Yeah.
So it was just a thought.
Yeah, so we just made our Reddit thread a week ago, actually.
Nice.
So
Okay. Excellent.
we're starting to get out to that in the social media. We made the TikTok account about a week ago. We're starting to get a little bit of traction.
Easing it out there.
Nothing to write home about.
Right.
But it's just like getting all of that moving, and then that's where like this additional resources is going to really help, is being able to pay for the ad space in Reddit. That's a great. We didn't actually consider that as an ad network. But that, you're absolutely right. The Reddit threads are one of the top results on Google for this kind of thing. So it's a great idea.
People also don't pay for a pro Reddit account, so the chances of them seeing those ads is a lot higher because their conversion of people being a paid Reddit user isn't as much as the free people like myself.
That makes a lot of sense. Yeah, thank you. That makes a lot of sense.
All right, sweet.
Thank you.
All right, give it up one more time for Mary and team. So there will be a little bit of time to mingle afterwards. So if you have any more advice or you want to learn more, please feel free to chat with them after the presentation. So we have Dave Becker from Pulsar is our next presenter. Give it up for Dave. Come on, Dave. Just watch your head. Real quick, if you need to use the restroom, it's right back here in the corner. There's also another restroom if you go through the doors back there to the left, or to my left, and then down the hallway to the right, you'll see another restroom. So if you need to do that, there you go. Thank you. Thanks, Dave.
All right, I'll start with a story. About 6 years ago, I was contacted by a printing company in Brisbane, Australia, who was interested in what I could do to customize their website, because I had done that on the platform in which they were selling for a number of companies here in the U.S. Somehow my name had been passed on to them. And I started a relationship with them that moved from customizing their website to add some features that it didn't have, to creating some integrations between their selling platform and their shipping platform. They, for a number of reasons, were using a shipping platform that wasn't native to their selling platform. And so every day they were spending half an hour to an hour downloading all their orders, uploading them into the shipping platform so that they could fulfill them. So I was, sure, I can build an integration between those two, something automatically that ran at the end of the day, save them up to an hour every day. That started them thinking, well, could you build an integration between this other system that we work with? And that led to, well, maybe we could change the way that we even start our day and the way that we fulfill our orders. So what ended up happening over a period of 2 years, I ended up building an application that took them from an excess of 30 hours every week, using the tools that they had just as they had purchased them, to a custom application where every day they would come in, they would hit one button that would download all the orders that they needed for that day that had come in the last 24 hours, send them out to their suppliers, and actually place the orders for their raw materials. They would hit a second button that would then print out a list of barcoded labels for the products that they were going to produce that day, that they would affix to those products, queue up for their print run for that day. And then they would scan those barcodes, which would bring up a third component, which would be an application, which would, that's actually this that I'm showing you, which would have everything for that order, and all they'd have to do is select which printer they want to send it to. So everything that they were doing to function as a business was boiled down to 3 clicks. And that kind of spearheaded, then, in all honesty, then they passed my name on to a number of other companies, both in Australia and New Zealand. It developed into this custom application, custom integration, and just overall customization to both websites and just software solutions that are in the cloud. I began a marketing company about 15 years ago, and it grew to include integrations like that to the point where it was taking up 50 to 60% of my business. Now, I still would do traditional marketing, graphic design, web design, content creation, all of those types of things. There's just a unique niche that I found that was fitting a lot of companies with a lot of pain points that there was no solution for. Last year, I began conversation with a company in New York called Logos Works Partners. They are a social enterprise that looks to fund education initiatives, safety initiatives, economic initiatives in York County, just to make everyone in York County more prosperous, safer. They began a thing called the Safety Collab, which we've begun promoting. Basically, they do a lot of good work. And we started a conversation with, well, maybe this could be a business that could contribute to funding those types of initiatives. And that began this year in January. So I rebranded as Pulsar. And currently we're trying to grow the business to be able to do this type of thing. The challenge that we're running into as Pulsar is, how do you market a marketing company that isn't really a marketing company? That's the feedback we're looking for today. Yes, we are a marketing company and we do that stuff, but the unique space that we compete in and that we look to solve for customers, there aren't many people doing it, and they certainly aren't doing it in the way that we do it, especially with the customer, the end user in mind. There's a lot of developing companies that can put together integrations. They tend to be just like, all right, you told me you wanted this, there you go. I made it connect, and it isn't any easier to run. This is a rethinking, like a 21st century model. Like, why are we buying software and then changing the way that we want to work to adapt to the software that we purchase? This is flipping that and saying, okay, you have these tools. There's ways to make these work the way you want to work. That's the feedback I'm looking for. There is a QR code that is a virtual business code or business card. But any feedback would be appreciated in whether it's phrasing, positioning, whatever. How can we sell something that a lot of people don't even know exists and they're not necessarily looking for?
So first question would be, why are you doing both? Like, what is the reason that you've decided personally to merge these two things together? What's the benefit?
So one grew organically out of the other.
Well, sure.
Because I have clients that I do marketing for, and I like them. I don't want to send them away.
Well, I think that's an important piece. If you're marketing the business as a whole, I think narrowing in for you going forward, thinking about what's the benefit on the user end that they can get both of those things from you. Like, find that central theme between those two things. Does that make sense?
Yes.
And then the other thing that I like to think about in situations like this is like, okay, so what does true success from a client look like for you? Is success from a client that they get both of these avenues from you? And then, how do those two avenues kind of really work together? I think if we can figure out how they work together, that's where your sweet spot is going to be.
To be fair, for the purpose of tonight,
yeah,
we could pretend that all marketing services go away, because that literally could be something that happens in the future.
Okay.
The question still stands: how do you approach somebody with this solution? Because most people aren't looking for this solution.
All right.
That's the bigger question.
So I'm just going to clarify what I think I understand. So part of your first part of your company is designing programs customized for a business's needs.
Yeah.
And another part is marketing that business. So I just had a CRM designed, spent 4 months with a program through Coda to be just for me because I'm a language agency that doesn't do anything. I do things very differently than most language agencies, and none of the CRMs on the market worked for me. So we're still fine tuning. And I also have a marketing guy, but I have to provide content because to understand my business. So what I'm thinking is, oh my goodness, this person who's been doing the CRM who has really gotten to know my business well, because every time I say, oh, why is this interpreter doing this? I'm like, oh, well, we do this. And why are you doing this? Well, oh, we charge that when this happens. So she actually probably knows my business very well too now. So I can see how if you're designing a program for that business, and you really have to understand that business, like the printing company, you really had to understand the process, the products, everything. And this programmer really has to understand my linguists, how they work, my clients, how they work, how they want everything. So I'm thinking if you market it in a way that by designing the program, I really get to know your business well, and therefore I can market it and market. And when I think about the time we're saving, which means we have more time to really meet those needs and think about how can we serve our clients better, because now we're not working on so much time on schedule, putting in things into the program or the invoicing and all that, because it's going through quickly through this program. I had no idea what programming could do. I had no idea the possibility. So I think that you getting to know the customer really well when you design a program can really go well hand in hand, because then you're
Interesting.
That's how I see it.
Okay.
Hey, so I guess it's more kind of a question, but are you more or less targeting large to medium-sized businesses? Are you trying to focus on like a large-scale business? Because I work in supply chain consulting, and there are programs out there that provide solutions like this in the sense of for large scale companies, but they also have to pay a premium for that. So is this something that you're more looking to target smaller to medium sized businesses or like family businesses to say, hey, we can build this platform for you that can provide X, Y, and Z, and then also we're able to market it and make sure that we're hitting your demographic and they're going to your website, you're getting the clicks and all that specific.
Yeah, so my experience has been that you're right. There are solutions out there for mega corporations that can do this. So it's generally mid to small businesses that fit in this space where they're like, well, we bought these piecemeal, and now here we have this monstrosity that we have to run our business on, and it's not convenient. But I have had conversations with larger companies that have a solution that are looking for something very particular. So take a healthcare system that's running Epic. There are people that specialize in customizing Epic, but they tend to focus on it's kind of it's almost like a menu. Like here's the features, which ones do you want to add? And it's still not no, we want to do it this way. So there's opportunities in larger companies to tweak even large-scale solutions that aren't quite meeting their needs. But yeah, it tends to be small to mid-sized companies.
So I guess one last question kind of tying to this. When a medium-scale business moves into a large-scale business, are you future-proofing them for when it comes to
Sorry,
system?
I didn't catch that.
Are you future-proofing them for when it comes to systems integrations to another platform, or is this kind of expected to be the platform that they're going to run on, and it should it meet their needs as you're building this product with them?
So that depends. If they have a vision or a plan that they know it's going in a direction, then yes, absolutely. But a lot of times that's not the case. So then it's just, well, this works now. We may have to revisit this if you decide. And I've had companies that were like, well, we were working with one system, we've moved to another one. It's like, all right, well, we just need to tweak the code, so now it's working with this other API instead of the previous one.
So I guess to go to your first question of how do you market to these two separate business channels, I think you come up with a name that is Pulsar Integrations or Pulsar Solutions or something like that, which is a division of your company. Okay. And then in terms of how do you find the folks who would need that service, I would look at your existing customers and see are you integrating any single package for a lot of those customers? Even if it's, if you're integrating Shopify to 20 different things, if you have 10 customers who use Shopify, then you can advertise to Shopify users saying, does Shopify not talk to your other systems? I can make it talk to your other systems. And, hit those things that you keep overlapping on.
Okay.
Or are you not hitting overlaps?
There hasn't been a huge. Now, the company in Australia, they're on a platform. It's a very specific custom printing platform called Deco Network. That's been huge for exactly that. Because I've been able to branch out into Denmark and the UK, and people all over the world use it, and it's a terrible it's horrible. As far as they aren't on the same scale as Shopify and BigCommerce and some of those other ones. I have not had as much success. So I have individual clients that are on BigCommerce and Shopify that I've done customization for them. Not the same amount of success. And I'm wondering if that's because there's so many plugins that are available for there. So people aren't thinking, I don't want a custom solution because I know that's outrageously expensive. I just want to buy something that's already available. And if it's close, I'll deal with it kind of thing. That's a guess.
So actually, I've had a lot of experience in this space personally. This is kind of my day job, so to speak. So building custom integrations, like you mentioned, some printing companies. I've worked with some of those old they were built in 1995 systems. I've worked with healthcare companies, healthcare equipment companies, and the one thing that I found with every customer I've acquired doing that is they are looking for these solutions because of all the reasons you've mentioned, because there isn't enough customization, there isn't enough stuff, but none of them are small companies. All of them are mid to large range companies. Some are, I think you need to make sure that you're marketing this to the right people. And then, of course, coming to events like this and networking to people looking for these integrations, especially like in the healthcare field, is what I would recommend to market your services the best. Because to be honest, we've spent tens of thousands of dollars on marketing costs over the years, just trying to figure out Google's algorithm to get them to come to our business, and it doesn't work that way. I mean, granted, now you do get better results over time, but that's all through customer testimonials. Clutch profiles are a good way to do that for software companies of your size. Those are really good ways to do that, but you have to market it right. You can't just buy an ad space and say, "Hey, I'm the best." It's not going to work that way.
Right.
And I know I'm a little younger than some people here, but I've been doing this for 12 years, and we've built well over 80 of these applications. So hopefully that helps, and that helps guide you in the right direction, at least from what we've found successful before.
No, that does. Thanks.
What percentage of your current client base is are businesses, are product businesses, or I would say product or supply chain, product or distribution, and what percentage are service providers?
That's a good question. Current clients, it's probably 80% of product services. Now, I have had a number of conversations with organizations that provide services. A lot of times there's a budgetary restraint in those spaces, which is one of the things that's been nice partnering with Logos Works, because their experience with maybe we can get funding, because we've worked with grants and in different areas that moving forward, that's something that we're wondering if we can start to help, especially organizations that are helping in community health and safety and economy, that sort of thing.
Okay, thank you. I was asking because some of my professional background is in industrial automation, but I also have a close friend that works in HVAC. And so he works with massive corporations, but he also works with mom and pop shops of a guy that's an HVAC technician he's employed 40 hours a week, but on the weekend he has his own van and he goes out and works as an HVAC technician under his own brand. And a lot of those businesses start out with the intent of just being a weekend warrior with a van and end up growing into their own full-fledged business with 20, 30, 40, 50 vans delivering those types of services. And I saw the same type of thing in with system integrators when I was working in automation. And so I know that a lot of those businesses are started by people who have a very high level of technical expertise in one area, like heating and air conditioning, or in system integration. They have no idea how to get someone to help them with marketing. And they really, a lot of people in that type of work really don't have an interest in spending a lot of time working with marketers, working with people that can help integrate the software that they use with possibly software that are used by bigger corporations that maybe they procure a product from. And so I think, with that type of business, the opportunity to get in with possibly marketing services, but grow with some of these integrations is a way to kind of get around those short-term budgetary constraints.
Thank you.
So this isn't really a question per se, but I'm a graphic designer for a market research company. So I'm around the terms consulting and advisory constantly, and even like hearing Manny talk and Dave talk about like his solution. It kind of just makes me think about the idea of just like marketing as like a consultant, like a consultancy or advisory sort of situation for these companies. Because in my realm, for my market research company, the consultants do whatever the client needs, like wherever that comes from. So it's kind of like a nice like broader term to kind of get you
So
what
you're
you
saying
need.
lean into like a consultant.
Yeah, and I think
type
like
verbiage.
yeah, and it's like beautiful like what a consultant can do. Like even like Mabel, who's a career coach, I see her as like a consultant for like folks who are like looking for like new careers. Just having someone to be like, hey, I'm on your team. I want to learn everything about your company, like what I can do for you, and just be there for you as just like a guide.
Okay, thanks.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Kind of just to reinforce some ideas that were said before, but in different language, I think some things you need to consider is either rebranding what you're marketing it as. I feel like that might help because you're selling it as a marketing agency or company, but you said almost half of what you do is not marketing. So I think either considering like a sister branch where one focuses on marketing and the other focuses on this custom built type of thing, or really think about what most of your audience is buying. If most of them are buying more of this custom work, then maybe you shouldn't consider yourself a marketing agency. And if you're not marketing yourself as that, now you want to rethink of who your target audience is if you're focusing now on this custom build. So I feel like that's a whole lot of your problem, because you might have a different target audience for each set that you're doing. And because you're focusing on two separate ideas that don't really mingle together, it might be best to either separate the two or drop one.
Okay.
I'll send it to you next. Dave, I'm on your website, checking it out. I have a lot of suggestions, but to narrow it down, I'm going to say from what you're saying, and there's dissonance between what you're saying here and the marketing that you have online. I hear you saying that you are a technology and digital integration company. When I look at your website, there is some things about content creation. However, your content on your website is not clear. So if I would suggest anything, it would be drop content creation, drop the messaging, and focus on technology and digital experience for your clients, which is an aspect of marketing, but you need to niche where your best skill set is, and then you can clarify your marketing message around the best services that you deliver to your clients, because you may be getting confusion around what exactly you do. And I think if you niche to the digital experience side and drop the traditional marketing from like we're helping you with your message side, you would actually have a much more viable marketing message.
All right. Thanks.
So, hi, it's nice to meet you. I'm Eric Beckman. I'm a creative director and freelance designer. So these are all really great ideas, and great pieces of a whole. But one thing I would probably suggest is clearly defining what it is you do, and more importantly, what it is you would like to do. Because until you know that, until you can define that in its simplest form, you're kind of just shotgunning things out into the ether. And being able to do that, it will help you figure out how to make the other pieces in service of that piece rather than just dismissing them, because they're all valuable. They're all things that you can offer as a service. You just need to put some priority to them, and you can't put any priority into them until you clearly can define what it is you want to do.
Okay.
After that, what I would probably suggest is doing some, and someone sort of mentioned it earlier, is doing some user research and figuring out who it is you want to go after once you know what it is you want to do. Once you have those pieces, you can really start to build the plan on how to get there. But right now, it kind of sounds like you want to do a little bit of this, you want to do a little bit of this, but not having that clear destination is kind of
True.
letting you sort of meander out.
And that's completely valid, just because of the nature of the way everything kind of grew. So it was just like, well, yes, I can do this. Yes, I can do this. And now that's valid. Like maybe it's time to sit down and be like, okay, who are we going to be straight up? Not that we can't do other things, but yeah.
Yeah, and then all of these other suggestions can be in service of that, right? So like someone mentioned a possible rebrand or updating the content on your website. Once you know what it is you want to do and where you want to go, all of those pieces will be in service of getting you to that place, right? So like Pulsar could adapt to something else that better reflects the goals you're going after and who you are or who your business is and how you want to present it to your audience.
Good. Thank you.
Yeah, I'm Nicole Dave with Assets here in Lancaster. And I really dig your idea. It's really great. Pulsar seems like it's going in a really great direction. But like everyone else said, I think it just will be a really great idea to streamline everything. Focus like your business on what you want to be known for. What do you and your partner want to be known for in the region, in the county? Just streamline everything, and then choose your target market. I did hear you want to go after small and mid-sized businesses. But are you sure about that? Because it seemed like you weren't sure about that as well. So
I think it would be fit in that category, but I don't know that that's what I want to continue to do.
Yeah. So I think once you have a clear picture of where you want to go, then we can give you direction about how do we market a company that focuses on custom business solutions, but also offer traditional marketing services. We can answer that question once you know where you're going.
All right, thanks.
Okay.
Back there. I think one of the challenges, you mentioned small to medium-sized businesses, but I think one of the challenges that you'll have is the marketing and the custom build stuff. They're two different people. So you would need to be marketing to two different markets completely. Trying to bring that under one marketing plan, I think, would be very difficult. I like the idea.
Operations versus marketing.
Correct. Okay. Like the people that are working with the software and trying to make it work are not the people that are marketing it typically, unless it's a small firm. Then it's one person or a couple people doing everything.
Right.
But I do like the idea of splitting off the marketing over here and the custom design over here. But also, is it just you and your partner?
Presently, yes. That's the plan.
My recommendation would be
Long-term.
niche down to one of them and grow that. And as you build your team, then get back into the other one maybe.
Okay.
But if you're trying to do both of those things, I think, I have that issue too. I'm an entrepreneur. I have an agency. I do some other things. And the challenge is to figure out, what am I doing today? What am I focusing on today? And if you're focusing on marketing and focusing on software integration, you can't do that at once. So how do you do that? So my opinion would be to niche down to one of them, do that really well, and then build out the other one as you grow.
All right. Thank you.
So, have you marketed at all or networked with other like dev shops and or agencies?
No, not much. No,
Because
I have a couple that I've used as not consultants,
Yeah.
but like just hey, I need help with this because I don't have the time to do it. So
Well, that's it. So I was actually thinking if you're networking with these different agencies who are working with companies, either they might not have the capacity and or the knowledge, or they have a client coming to them saying, I have these different issues and do you know of anyone who can help with this solution? And so, I mean, a good example is Jason's a FileMaker developer. I have a marketing agency, and one of my clients was like, hey, like I was doing their marketing. They were like, hey, we need a custom application, like something to run our systems because there is no out-of-the-box solution. And so I was like, well, we happen to have a member who's a FileMaker developer who this is what he does is custom business applications. I'm like, let me see if he's available. So I literally Slacked him, and he came up to a meeting and now has built a huge system for them. So like just that networking of like having agencies know what you're doing so that they can ping you if needed or to bring you in for projects. I think there's so much value there in just that networking with potential partners.
that's good. Thanks.
So one thing I was thinking is because I also run a web development company, and we do live stream broadcasts, we do everything. Our company's name is Nicely Done Sites, but we do way more than all that, way more than just sites. And what I'm kind of thinking of is in a similar sense to how Best Buy has Geek Squad working inside of their building under the same name, that might be a good direction to go in. Still keeping your same name because you don't have to have two separate websites to market and two separate everything they have to worry about, potentially a second Facebook page, a second Instagram, a second everything, and doing it all under one could help out until you get far enough to make it, till it makes sense to split them across into two separate companies. Because if it's just you and one other person, just like it was for me for many years, it's a lot easier said than done to have them be two split separate entities.
Right.
So I think that could be a good way to at least get you through that to really make that final decision, potentially. So.
Okay. Thanks.
Any other questions for anyone?
All right. I just want it one more time for all of our presenters, Dave, Mary. Thank you for taking the time and presenting and letting us learn more about your businesses. And so obviously check them out online, connect with them. If you also know any entrepreneurs or if you're an entrepreneur who would like to present at a Keystone Merge, just hit up Keystone Merge, just follow them online, let them know, because always looking for entrepreneurs to present. So there's that. Just want to thank again our community partners, Next Gen Innovation Committee, and all the great work they're doing. Again, make sure you follow them. The next Keystone Merge is going to be in York at the Grotto, and it says June 1st. Is that so? Okay, so we're skipping May, coming back in June. So we can drive up to York and check it out. So please stay, eat some food, network a little bit. We appreciate you all coming. So thanks so much, everyone.